Good evening. Out of the various queries which were there in part of letter number 25, we are at the question number 7 or query number 7. And that particular question talks about what is the reward provided by nature for men who are benevolent in a large systematic way. Perhaps that's the question which Senate has raised, and Master is replying. If the persons are some who have not focused on the individual or a particular speciality, engaging only in one single activity, they pass through the Kamaloka and the Rupaloka quickly and move to the higher sphere, where the abstract ideas which are not concrete, abstract ideas, are formulated, and they actually form the thoughts of the occupant's mind in the higher sphere. The occupants have the thoughts of the higher sphere, and they're all abstract ideas, is what the book is saying, or Master is saying. Personality is the one as against ego. We are talking in terms of philosophical parlance. Personality is the one as against ego, which works to limit the life of the person depending on the person's outlook of life while he was living on earth. So personality is the one as against ego, which works to limit the life of the person depending on the person's outlook of life, attitude of life while living on earth. If that person had not lived with broader ideas like unselfish way of living, brotherhood, togetherness, unity, etc., they move longer, they stay longer in the lower spheres. Maybe because they don't have the ideas of brotherhood, unity, because of that reason, they move longer and stay longer in the lower spheres. Maybe those persons who have lived a selfish sort of life, will spend more time in the lower spheres. This is what the Master has said to Mr. Sinnett. So if people are spending their life rather selfishly, not thinking of ideas of coming together, living together, etc., living in brotherhood, etc., they stay longer in the lower sphere. And maybe these persons who have lived a selfish sort of life will spend more time in the lower spheres. This is the message which he has given, the Master has given. And then Master is clarifying one more point. The social status of a being is, of course, depending on the result of karma. The social status of a being is, of course, depending on the result of karma. So the law of karma provides, like attracts likes. This is an inverted commas. Like attracts the likes. So the about to be born again gets drawn into a period of rest. Gestation is the word used, period of rest, and the existing attractions of the previous birth come into operation at that time when he is taking the next birth. So Master says, it is also possible that a Rayat, a peasant, can take birth as a king, and the king who died may take birth as a laborer or a coolie. He can live in the tent of a coolie. That's exactly the words which are mentioned in the letter. So this law of attractions is the cause of 1,000 accidental births, says the Master. So this law of attractions, like attracting the like. So this law of attractions is the cause of 1,000 accidental births. And skandhas, as we hear about it in the Theosophical literature and Buddhist literature, are also the cause for a limited existence in a limited way. The skandhas also determine how long one should live, what sort of conditions or what sort of skandhas with which vasanas he lived with. So depending on that, his life is determined, the future life is determined. All these facts or conditions, when you go through, you meaning epicene, all these facts or conditions, when you go through, you meaning epicene, may not get a satisfactory understanding of Dev Chand. So he still feels Sinet may not quite understand what exactly Dev Chand means, because he is talking about so many other facts which sort of determine the stay and determine this way in which he would live there and how his future life will get conditioned. So Master says, your assumptions that the upper classes due to better karma are well placed in Dev Chand also is not well founded. So it is a guesswork on the part of Senate to say the people who belonging to the better society, they have lived there in better society because of better karma. This is the feeling Mr. Senate has. So Master says, your assumptions that the upper classes due to better karma are well placed in Dev Chand also is not well founded. If such upper classes assume that they will have better happy conditions, if such upper classes assume that they will have better happy conditions, it does not go well with the karmic law. So the law of karma will not allow it, will not permit it. So if they assume that because we belong to a higher strata of the society, we will live in better karma, the law of karma will not permit that, is what the Master has conveyed. Actually, the well-being and enjoyment will lead or result in heavier karma than given to those who have good results in Dev Chand. Actually, the well-being and enjoyment will lead or result in heavier karma than due to good results in Dev Chand. So poverty and someone leading a humble life, a poor life, living in poor conditions, are not the causes for sorrow. This is a very important statement Master is making. Poverty and a life humbly led, meaning not having humble as a condition of life, but the conditions in which he lives are very poor. So poor conditions in life are not the causes for sorrow. It could be sorrowful even though the person by birth is well placed wealth-wise. So wealth he may have, but that doesn't mean he will not be sorrowful. So poverty and humble life or poor conditions in life are not the causes for sorrow. It could be sorrowful even though the person by birth is well placed wealth-wise. So Master says, the above is a broad rule. The above is a broad rule. This is what the Master is saying. Then Master talks about how Mr. Sinnett is preferring to, he's coming to other things, other matters. Then Master, other matters other than Dev Chan. So then Master is talking about how AP Sinnett is preferring to write a book titled Esoteric Buddhism to reach out to many people than writing for the Theosophist magazine. Because the Theosophist magazine has smaller reach, the Theosophist magazine has smaller reach, Mr. Sinnett wants to write a book which will reach many, especially abroad. So Master KH says, Master M wants the Theosophist to be made more successful by circulating the magazine more in England. This is what KH is conveying to Mr. Sinnett. Don't make Theosophist into a magazine which is of lesser importance, but you should say, Master KH says, Master M wants the Theosophist magazine to be made more popular, more successful by circulating the magazine more in England. So it is not just the book which will go to England, so we'll have more readers for it, but the Theosophist magazine also should get maximum readership in England. That's what Master M wanted it. So that is what KH conveyed to Mr. Sinnett. Master KH appreciates the title Esoteric Buddhism. Master KH appreciates the title Esoteric Buddhism and offers many suggestions. And he says the book will be reviewed at his request by Swami T. Subbarao and Madam Blavatsky. And he says, I will offer some notes for them to consider while they write their review, says the Master. The book will be reviewed, that means the book Esoteric Buddhism will be reviewed by Swami T. Subbarao and Madam Blavatsky at the behest of the Master. Master would ask them to review the book. And he also says, I will offer them some notes for them to consider while reviewing the book. This is what the Master is telling Mr. Sinnett. Master says, AP Sinnett has lot of material supplied by Master KH. Master KH says, Sinnett has lot of material supplied by him, meaning Master KH, which can be used to write articles to the magazine, The Theosophist. This should be in addition to writing the book which you are intending to write. So he is asking him to write in the Theosophist magazine, for which he says, I have given you a lot of material. Depending on that material, you can perhaps write a lot of articles. Master says, keep this plan in mind. What is that plan? Not only you will publish the book, but you will also write many articles to the Theosophist and see that the magazine Theosophist is contributed or read well in England or subscribed well in England. Master says he's talking about a plan as regards Darjeeling. Master says your plan with Darjeeling in your mind is not quite practicable. You have some ideas about how to go about using Darjeeling as a place and spread the Theosophical Society and Theosophy. Master says the time is not ripe and it is not quite practicable. It's not the right time, says Master KH. So the way you are spending your energies, this is a caution he is giving to Mr. Sinnett. The way you are spending your energies, you are moving slowly and steadily into a journey which is bordering on selfishness. I'm working more to see that I become popular, my book becomes popular, things like that. So Master has Observe that. He says, the way you are spending your energies, you are moving slowly and steadily into a journey which is bordering on selfishness. So this is what Master is cautioning Mr. Sinnott. And as usual, when can we meet in person is a question Sinnott is asking. Meeting in person is not possible is the indication the Master has given to Mr. Sinnott. Meeting in person is not possible is the indication the Master has given to Mr. Sinnott. Master says, for the past 2 years, Master says, for the past 2 years, you have done more good. You have done more good to your people and to yourself. For the past 2 years, you have done more real good to your people and to yourself too by being a member of the Theosophical Society and talking about theosophy. You have got so much of knowledge of what theosophy is, and you are richer by that knowledge. Master talks about now the London branch of the Theosophical Society. Master is talking about the London branch of the Theosophical Society, which is in fact done something which is not to be done. That branch, London branch, has withheld the money or subscriptions that were collected without actually transferring them to the Mother Society or the Theosophical Society at Adyar. So Master talks about the London branch of the Theosophical Society, which has withheld the money collected as subscriptions, and that was not passed on to the parent society, the Theosophical Society at Adyar. He says, Master says, the founders in India are giving every rupee they have to the society. Master says, the founders, HPB and Alcott, are giving every rupee they have to this society, the Theosophical Society. HPB, Upasika, has sold her jewelry to support the Theosophical Society. HPB has sold her jewelry to support the Theosophical Society. When compared with British members, when compared with the British members who have actually contributed and withheld the money, the founders are in a poorer state, a state of pecuniary difficulties, yet they're ready to sacrifice and carry on with the work of the Theosophical Society. Master says, Henry Steele Alcott is not able to support his sister, who has 6 children and who is starving in America. Mr. Alcott is not able to spare even 100 rupees from society's funds because he thought that sort of conversion of the Theosophical collected money for his family to be supported is not right. So he has not even spent 100 rupees from the society's funds, and HPB and Master have prevailed on him to help the system. Though Mr. Alcott is in great need for funds, he has not resorted to using the money of the Theosophical Society. Master M and Madam Blavatsky have given a small sum towards the cause of helping the poor sister of Alcott. Because he was not doing from the funds, Madam Blavatsky and Master M, they gave some money which could be used for the purpose of taking care of his poor sister in America, Alcott's poor sister in America. Master says it is not right to waive the fees due to the society when even poor Hindu clerks with salaries of 20 to 30 rupees only are able to pay to the society their dues. Why waive the fees for London Lodge members? Master says it's not right to waive the fees due to the Theosophical Society Why? Because even poor Hindu clerks with salaries of 20 rupees and 30 rupees are able to pay to the society their annual dues. So why waive the fees for London members? Because they are in better place economic wise, or economically they're better placed. So why we should waive the fees? So he is asking Mr. Senate, do justice, says the master, even in the worst of circumstances, do justice. If London members need concession, master says, you, meaning AP Senate, decide and negotiate what the fee should be, taking all things into consideration. So he gives the responsibility of deciding how much of concession the landlord members should have or should enjoy. It all depends on Mr. Senate to decide how much of concessions and how he would negotiate with them, how much of fee should be all right to be paid. Master says, put the money relations on a better footing. See, it's not entirely to do with money. So put the money relations on a better footing than they're at present. So you should not attach too much importance to money, but at the same time, see that nothing untoward happens as far as the sending of money to the Theosophical Society proper or headquarters is concerned. Master says, he, that is master, has faith in the wisdom of Senate. Master says, he has faith in the wisdom of AP Senate. Master says again, he knows how tough are the negotiations to raise capital for his new newspaper, which he wanted to start, namely Phoenix, because he was wanting to start another newspaper and how he would raise money required for it as a capital. So Master is drawing the parallel and he says, he knows, that means Master knows how tough are the negotiations to raise capital for his new newspaper, Phoenix, because his Pioneer management had given him notice to quit. Pioneer had given notice to Mr. Senate to quit. So he wanted to start another paper. So I know what it means to collect capital for the paper. So money being what it is, you have to be very careful, decide on the merits of the case. Then he says, Chauhan is yet to give approval to accept Senate as a chela. Chauhan is yet to give approval to accept him, means Senate, as a chela. So I am not able to invoke the psychic powers which otherwise I could have invoked. So I'm not doing anything because we don't have the power and it is decided by the hierarchy. So as a chela, you still have to wait for some more time to be accepted as chela. So I'm unable to use psychic powers which otherwise I could have used or invoked, says the master. Master says the laws and restrictions with regard to money within which they have to function, meaning masters have to function or operate, are extremely severe. Master says the laws and restrictions with regard to money within which they, meaning masters, have to function or operate are extremely severe. Impossible to act sometimes, whether acting within or outside of our association, says the master. So it's very difficult. We have very strict rules to follow. So it's not easy for us to use money or to help anybody with money and things like that. So there are a lot of restrictions. Master says the review of Isaacs, a novel, should appear, the review should appear in the Theosophist magazine. The author is also the author of the other book called The Occult World. So ensure that review is sent to Adyar. This is the instruction given by Master to Senate. Review has to appear in the Theosophist magazine. So see that the review reaches Adyar. Sam Ward, S-A-M-W-A-R-D, who is also known as Uncle Sam, an associate of Senate, and he has also given a write-up about Isaacs, that article which you have, or the book which you have talked about. That Uncle Sam's write-up also should get noticed in the newspaper Pioneer, not in the Theosophist. He says it should get noticed in the newspaper Pioneer. Uncle Sam's review or Uncle Sam's write-up about that Isaacs should appear in the newspaper Pioneer. So take steps for that is what Master is telling. Master takes leave and bids goodbye as he is going to be busy with some work relating to initiation. So it has come to the almost the end of the letter. He says, I'm going to be busy with some work relating to initiation, and I'm busy that way, so I'll not be able to spend much time with you on this correspondence right now. And Master says his Chela, Jwala Pool, among others, is getting the 5th initiation, possibly. That's the understanding we should have. So this is how the letter 25 ends. And I thought the entire letter number 25, if we reduce that letter number 25 into bullet points, things which will be perhaps good for us to remember. So we know letter number 16 and 20C also dealt with the Devchanic life, in addition to letter number 25. So we'll talk about the bullet points of the letter number 25. Devchan, point number 1. Devchan is not supposed to be a monotonous condition. Devchan is not supposed to be a monotonous condition. So life in Devchan is not monotonous. This is the first time he talked about this to Mr. Sennett. He talked about it again and again because he came back with the same question, whether the same thing will get repeated, and so there's nothing to really enjoy or experience. So Master says, Devchan is not supposed to be a monotonous condition. So life in Devchan is not monotonous. And rule number 2, or point number 2, the law of cause and effect will play its role. The law of cause and effect will play its role. Results are directly proportionate to the efforts put in. So this is another point which you have studied. Number 3, the vices and attractions will pave the way for the next birth. The vices and attractions will actually pave the way for the next birth. So this is the 3rd point we have seen. 4th, all aspirations of spiritual, intellectual, abstract, metaphysical will come to fruition in Devchan. All aspirations of spiritual nature, intellectual nature, abstract nature, and metaphysical nature will come to fruition in Devchan. So that is where it will find an expression in Devchan. The ego, the real person, leads a conscious existence in Devchan. Personality has no role to play in Devchan. So the ego, the real person, leads a conscious existence in Devchan. And then we move to point number 6. The ability of one to function in higher spheres depends on one's inner development, the person's inner development. The ability of one to function in higher spheres, meaning Devchan and further above, They depend on one's inner development. The person's inner development is the one which will cause him or which will enable him to function in higher spheres. And point number 7, bullet point number 7. The experience of a person in Devchan is very vivid and clear. The experience of a person in Devchan is very vivid and clear. Aspirations which have not given fruits or happiness on earth will get multifolded and they get expanded in infinite ways. For all the good things done, sometimes the results are not available on earth. So the good aspirations which have not given fruits or happiness while a person is living on earth will get multifolded and they get expanded in infinite ways. And then the next point, Master says, having said what all he said about Devchan, he was only trying to describe the indescribable. Master says it's not easy to describe Devchan, but having said what all he said about Devchan, Master says he was only trying to describe the indescribable. Words really cannot express the conditions of Devchan. So it's beyond words. So one cannot expect the words, even if the Master will convey the entire conditions which exist in Devchan. Right. Then the next point, point number 10. If one cooperates with nature, he or that person gets reward for his efforts and well-doing. If one cooperates with nature, he or that person gets reward for his efforts and for his well-doing and cooperating with nature. So this is something which all of us perhaps have to understand. We cannot go against the nature. We should cooperate with the nature. This is the one of the points mentioned by the Master. If one cooperates with nature, he or that person gets reward for his efforts and for his well-doing and cooperating with the nature. Then point number 11. Master says, more merit and longer stay in Devchan is a misconception. This is something which is against the grains of the Vedanta or the Hindu philosophy. You do a lot of punya, you spend more time there, is what we are normally told. But Master says, more merit and longer stay in Devchan is a misconception. Why? Next point answers that. There's no time sense in Devchan. There's no time sense in Devchan. Absolutely no time. In fact, in the letter he says there are no clocks and watch pieces there or time pieces there. So there's no concept of time in Devchan. So that is what is to be noted. And like Devchan has no sense of time, Avicii, the opposite of Devchan, also has no sense of time. So time is not a factor. Time is not a factor either in Devchan or Avicii. Avicii is the opposite state of Devchan. Then talking more about time. Time is abstract. The time we know has been created by us. This is the information we have, or the message we have from the Master. Time is abstract. The time we know has been created by us, meaning we have created a lower world. What is time? Maybe today, tomorrow, and day after, things like that. So that's not there elsewhere. Then one more emphatic statement. Finite cannot measure the infinite. Like words cannot measure or cannot express. Here, finite cannot measure the infinite. what is objective cannot mirror the subjective. This is something which he said time and again, couple of times. Finite cannot measure the infinite. What is objective cannot mirror the subjective. Right? Then the next point. One has to distinguish between matter and form. One has to distinguish between matter and form. And we also move into a state where there is formless, arupa loka. So matter is nothing to do with Devchan. There is a rupa loka and arupa loka, but one has to distinguish between matter and form. Devchani means the person who is actually living in Devchan, who is absolutely the one who is responsible for creating or annihilating the atmosphere of Devchan. He does everything. Either he creates a good atmosphere to enjoy in Devchan, or his behavior is such that it annihilates, he spoils or removes or destroys the atmosphere of Devchan. So Devchani, the person who is living in Devchan, a person who is eligible to live in Devchan, he is absolutely responsible for creating or annihilating the atmosphere of Devchan. So this is another point which we have seen. And then the next point we have seen in the letter number 25. Earth life and life in Devchan are correspondential or correlated. Earth life and life in Devchan are correspondential and correlated. This is another important statement Master has made to Mr. Sennett. Then we'll move to another point, point number 19, as I've noted here. Nature neither cheats Devchani or the person living on earth. Nature neither cheats Devchani or the person who is living in Devchan or the person living on earth. Nature provides bliss, happiness, both on earth and Devchan. It's up to us to take it or absorb it or grab it. Nature neither cheats Devchani or the person living on earth. Nature provides bliss, happiness in Devchan. And unalloyed happiness is possible, unpolluted or something which is going along with happiness, something else which is not happiness also is there. Is it possible? So unalloyed happiness is possible in Devchan. So whatever happiness one gets in Devchan is unalloyed, pure. It's a fact of nature. That unalloyed happiness is a fact of nature. Then point number 21. The psychic life or the mental aspirations and life is the first flutter of the psychic life that happens on Devchan. The psychic life, meaning the mental aspirations or mental life, that causes the first flutter of the psychic life which happens on Devchan. Then, point number 22. The person who has not made a mark, the person who has wasted his life, the person who has not made a mark while living on earth, his life in Devchan also will be feeble and colorless. He has not lived well on earth. He has not done anything good. He has not done anything which is useful for others. So that person who has not made a mark while living on earth, his life in Devchan also will be feeble and colorless because there is nothing. It is correspondential. The letter said sometime back. So because you have not done anything worth the name, nothing happens in Devchan too. So this is another point which the letter conveys to us. Then persons who are wicked, greedy, sensual, live through a life, they will live like soulless living beings. Soulless living beings. The persons who are wicked, greedy, sensual, live through a life, but they will be soulless living beings. So they will not know anything. They will not know anything. They simply perhaps exist there. And because they are wicked, they are greedy, maybe they spend more time in Avicii. And if there is some element of goodness, they may also come to Devchan. But the way they live, because they live more with the sensual, more with the greedy nature and wicked nature, nothing really happens there in Devchan. Soulless living beings. They don't have a soul. They don't have something to store. Right. Next point. The change in Devchan, it's not charge, the change in Devchan is continual. The change in Devchan is continual. Devchani's occupation is pleasant and rapturous. This is what the letter said. The change in Devchan is continual. Devchani's occupation, the person who lives in Devchan, his occupation is pleasant and rapturous. A state of extreme happiness is rapture. Then the adepts are capable of seeing through the secrets of a person. We may think that we're hiding something and nobody is able to see. Maybe another man is not able to see. But adepts are capable of seeing through the secrets of a person, veils of Maya or illusion, or the deceptive appearances of a person are easily seen by adepts. So it becomes very easy for them to know who is right, who is wrong, who is on the right path, who is not on the right path. So adepts will be able to see through. If there is a person who is acting good, who is really not good, adepts will be able to find out that. Then point number 26, the details of all lives, earthly and devchanic, will be a fact at the end of the 7th round of the 7th root race. They'll remember everything. So the details of all lives, earthly and devchanic, will be a fact at the end of the 7th round of the 7th root race. Then point number 27, Arhat is free from desire. Arhat is free from desire. So if one wants to become Arhat, one wants to go towards the position of Arhat, eligibility, he wants to earn, he should get rid of desires. He should move towards desirelessness. And this Arhat has no bondage of karma, so no rebirth for him. He has no bondage of karma, so no rebirth for him. This is also another point which has been made in letter number 25. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are available. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are available, are not forgotten. Nirvana is a state where all objective remembrances are available and not forgotten. There is no intimate mutual relationship in Devchan between two beings. There is no intimate mutual relationship between two people in Devchan, like it happens on the physical plane, because the entities are leading a subjective existence, not objective existence. They are leading a subjective existence. So it's not quite possible for beings to have an intimate mutual relationship. Okay. In Devchan. Devchan is a state, not location. or even a destination. Devchan is a state, not location, not even a destination. This is something which is not quite understood by many. We think there is a place called Swarga. Devchan is a state, not location or even destination. Then the next point, the perceptions or perceive, the person who has the power of perceiving of Rupaloka are less subjective when compared with Arupaloka. The perceptions of Rupaloka are less subjective when compared with Arupaloka. Rupaloka and Arupaloka can't be compared. Rupaloka and Arupaloka can't be compared. So the way the perceptions happen also different. Then the last one, metaphysical concepts cannot be understood with physical eyes or ears. Metaphysical concepts cannot be understood with physical eyes or ears. One needs a spiritual eye. With this, I complete my summary also of the letter number 25. Thank you. It's over, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Meenakshi ji to give the Hindi translation of 7th part of letter number 104.
सभी को प्रणाम. थैंक यू ब्रदर कृष्णा जी. आज हम लेटर नंबर क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर नंबर 104 और महात्मा लेटर नंबर 125 का आखिरी पार्ट ले रहे हैं. आखिरी क्वेश्चन है सीनेट का. इस पर मास्टर बोलते हैं कि जो लोग बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से बहुत ही परोपकारी होते हैं और जिन्होंने अपने स्नेह को किसी एक व्यक्ति या विशेषता पर केंद्रित नहीं किया है, वे यदि शुद्ध है तो वे कामलोक और रूपलोकों से तेजी से निकलकर त्रिभुवन के उच्चतर क्षेत्र में आते हैं, क्योंकि यह वह क्षेत्र है जहाँ अमूर्त विचारों की रचना और समस्त सिद्धांतों की मीमांसा इसके निवासियों के विचारों को भर देता है. यह प्रकृति द्वारा उन लोगों के लिए दिया जाने वाला पुरस्कार है. पर्सनालिटी यानी सीमितता और व्यक्ति के विचार जितने संकुचित होंगे, वह निचले लोगों से उतना ही अधिक जुड़ा रहेगा. किसी व्यक्ति की सामाजिक श्रेणी निश्चित ही कर्म के परिणाम स्वरूप है. लाइक अट्रैक्ट्स लाइक, यह नियम है. पुनः जन्म लेने वाला जीव गर्भधारणा में खींचा जाता है, जिसके साथ पिछले जन्म से आने वाले प्रबल आकर्षण उसे आत्मसात कर लेते हैं, उसमें सम्मिलित हो जाते हैं. इस प्रकार जो देहाती के रूप में मरा, वह राजा के रूप में पुनर्जन्म ले सकता है और मृत सम्राट अगली बार कुली के घर में जन्म सकता है. आकर्षण का यह नियम हजारों पुनर्जन्मों पर लागू होता है. स्कंध सीमितता के तत्व है. इसे जब आप समझ लेते हैं, तब आपने देवाचन की स्थिति अवगत की है, उसे समझ चुके हैं, जो अभी आपके लिए समझ से बाहर है. अमीर वर्ग और अच्छे कर्म के कारण कल्याणपूर्ण खुशहाल होता है. यह आपका निष्कर्ष सामान्य तौर के लिए सही नहीं है. एक व्यापक नियम के तौर पर भी गरीबी और साधारण सी जीवन स्थिति धन और अमीरी की तुलना में दुख के कारण नहीं है. आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि उस समय एपीसी नेट नई किताब लिख रहे थे. उस पर मास्टर कहते हैं कि सिर्फ बहुत लोगों तक मास्टर प्रश्न करते कि क्या आपको नहीं लगता है कि सिर्फ बहुत लोगों तक ही नहीं आपकी किताब सीमित हो, बल्कि सबसे ग्रहणशील दिमागों तक उसे पहुंचना चाहिए. आपको दोनों प्रकार के लोगों के लिए लिखना चाहिए. फिर वे कहते हैं कि जर्नल को यानी द थियोसॉफिस्ट को यथासंभव सफल बनाना चाहिए। इंग्लैंड में अब जितना प्रसारित हो रहा है उससे ज्यादा प्रसारित किया जाना चाहिए, यह मास्टर एम चाहते हैं। आपकी नई किताब निश्चित ही पश्चिमी लोगों के सबसे विद्वान विचारशील लोगों का ध्यान इsoteric बुद्धिज्म की ओर आकर्षित करेगी। इस प्रकार यह बहुत अच्छा होगा और दोनों परस्पर सहायक साबित होंगे। आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि मेरे ढेर सारे पत्रों में, जिसमें कई बिंदुओं को विस्तार पूर्वक बताया गया है, आप उनमें से थियोसॉफिस्ट मैगजीन के लिए नए लेख और अनुच्छेद लिख सकते हैं और किताब के लिए आपके पास पर्याप्त और अतिरिक्त सामग्री होगी और बाद में इन्हें तीसरे खंड में शामिल किया जा सकता है। इस योजना को हमेशा ध्यान में रखना अच्छा होगा। आगे वे कहते हैं कि दार्जिलिंग संबंधित आपकी प्रत्यक्ष संपर्क वाली योजना असाध्य है। अभी समय नहीं आया है, लेकिन आपकी शक्ति आपको निरंतर धीरे धीरे व्यक्तिगत संपर्क की दिशा में ले जा रही है। यह जानकर खुश रहे कि आपने पिछले 2 वर्षों में अपने जैसे लोगों के लिए पिछले कई वर्षों की तुलना में अधिक भलाई की है और स्वयं के लिए भी भलाई की। लंदन शाखा के मेंबर्स मूल सोसाइटी से अपनी आर्थिक सहायता का छोटा सा हिस्सा भी प्रतिवर्ष देना नहीं चाहते हैं। यह बेपरवाही और स्वार्थ ही है, ऐसा मास्टर कहते हैं। भारत में फाउंडर्स यानी कर्नल ऑलकॉट और एचपीबी दोनों अपना आखिरी रुपया दे रहे हैं और उपासिका यानी एचपीबी सोसाइटी की प्रतिष्ठा के खातिर अपने आभूषण भी बेच रही है। हालांकि कई ब्रिटिश सदस्य उनसे कहीं बेहतर तरीके से आवश्यक त्याग करने में सक्षम हैं। मिस्टर ऑलकॉट की बहन वास्तव में अमेरिका में भूख से मर रही है और बेचारे ऑलकॉट अपनी प्यारी बहन को सोसाइटी के या थियोसॉफिस्ट के फंड से 100 रुपये तक नहीं दे सकते हैं ताकि वे अपनी बहन और उसके 6 बच्चों की सहायता कर सके। एचपीबी के कहने पर मास्टर एम ने इसके लिए एक छोटी सी राशि दी। बाद में मास्टर कहते हैं कि यह याद रखे कि अगर 20 या 30 रुपए वेतन वाले गरीब हिंदू क्लर्क से उस फीस से सोसाइटी के खर्चों का भुगतान करने की उम्मीद की जाती है तो लंदन के कई अधिक अमीर सदस्यों को पूरी तरह से छूट देना सरासर अन्याय है। आगे वे कहते हैं कि फोनिक्स के लिए रकम का जुगाड़ करने के मामले में आपको मुझ पर भरोसा न करने का पूरा अधिकार है। मैं अभी भी मेरे ले चेला के लिए चौहान की स्वीकृति के बावजूद पिछले साल के प्रतिबंधों के अधीन हूँ। पैसे या किसी आर्थिक कार्यकलाप के संबंध में हमारे नियम और बंधन, चाहे हमारे संघ के भीतर हो या बाहर हो, बहुत ही सख्त होते हैं, कुछ मामलों में अक्षम्य होते हैं। हमें बहुत सावधानी से आगे बढ़ना है। आखिर में मास्टर कहते हैं कि मैं दीक्षा की तैयारियों में बहुत व्यस्त हूँ। ज्वालपुल और अन्य सहित मेरे कई चेले उस पार यानी द अदर शोर पहुंचने के लिए प्रयास कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू, नमस्ते।
Thank you, Meenakshi ji. So the forum is now open for any questions. Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, sir, now what I am understanding about the Devachan, that is the Arupa Loka and Rupa Loka are part of the Devachan. Though they are called Lokas, it is still a subjective place because each person's experience in Devachan is unique. It is not like how in Kamaloka 2 people can be in the same environment at the same time. because they are actually seeing an external environment. Whereas in Devachan, the whole thing is happening in the mind, though it is still called loka in the our Sanskrit. So it's not, they are not planes, but they are states of consciousness. Is that how it is, sir, or am I misunderstanding something?
It's a state. That's what he said. It's a state, and it has been. We are familiar with this word Tribhuvana and Loka and all that. So Rupaloka are also used in the letter. Rupaloka is a place where there are no forms. So Rupaloka, there are some forms. So that's perhaps the distinction there. And Master also said there is nothing to compare between Rupaloka and Arupaloka also. And subjective. Very well said, yes. And like you have some people who are having some sort of an experience of togetherness or being friendly, etc. That sort of thing is not there because both are subjective beings. So question of coming together is not there in the Devachan. You're right.
Thank
It's a state. Yeah.
So I have another sort of parallel question. I mean, generally, broadly, we are doing the Mahatma letters for, I mean, several years now. But the book called The Light in the Light of the Sanctuary, written by Jeffrey Hodgson. These are also letters written to a theosophist by Master M and Master KH. And they are much more recent, as in the 1980s, 70s. And it was published in 1988. So why does that book not figure in our studies?
No, it depends on the person or the committee which decides which book to follow. That's it.
Okay.
Anything can be picked up, no problem.
Okay.
Which book, Bimalji, you are mentioning?
Light of the Sanctuary, sir. Jeffrey Hodgson.
Oh.
They are the letters written by Master M and KH to Jeffrey Hodgson. He was an English theosophist who lived in New Zealand. And he has written several books.
New Zealand.
Yeah. Kingdom of the Gods. Many books he has written.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But his one book is a letter of compilation. Is a compilation of the letters written by Master M and Master KH to him directly. But it was told to him that he cannot publish it while he's alive. Only after his death it will be published. And it is also written in the letter that it is to show to the present theosophists that the masters are still in touch with the society. That is the reason these letters have to be published. So after his death, his wife Sandra Hodgson, she published these letters in 1988. It's called
actually
Light of the Sanctuary. The book.
Sanctuary. Yeah. Yeah. See, even if there are some more people who are in touch or who are getting messages, the instruction given to them is that they should not talk about it openly or with anybody, with any other person. Even it could be the better half. You should not discuss what has happened to you with your better half also. That's how the whole system is built. So it's one-to-one, that sort of correspondence goes or messages keep happening. So even now, that's the rule exists even the same way. And if you break the rule, you suppose you say to, yeah, this is what happened, I saw him yesterday. Suppose you say that. That's the last thing perhaps he would have done or he would have visited you. He won't continue that because you don't have that ability to carry without sharing. Even now, there are people who are in touch.
Yes, light of the sanctuary, not sanctuary. Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Yes. I have not seen now I'm.
We were told when we were young that there are two basic sources of theosophy. One is the letters from the Masters of the Wisdom. The second, the writings of Madame Blavatsky. They are the two main sources. Of course, depending on what Madam Blavatsky has written, a number of other people have written various things. That is all well taken. But two chief sources for us to get theosophy is, one is letters from the Masters of the Wisdom. Number two, the writings of Madam Blavatsky. Of course, there could be other things which can be added, and we can see the good aspects of those literature or those books also. So, right.
We could probably start that on another day, maybe. It need not be like instead of this, but it could be an addition to this. Because then you would get a lot of things which are very oriented to today, nearer to today's time. So it will be easier for us also.
Let's take a call. Let's discuss. And
Yes.
how many people really have the copies of that book is also very important. So
yes, it's
all
not
that.
available
And
also on
the
Amazon.
persons
We have
who
to
are conducting, maybe like, no, the person who will conduct, at least they should have gone through these letters thoroughly. So then,
Yes.
in which case, they would be able to present a succinct, basic information which is required by others to know. So if it is just reading down, I think that would be not right. So some people who have the book, they should do that basic study, not just going through, study and note down and make the notes and present it. I think that will be really good if it happens.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Shall we close, sir?
Yes, yes. Can close.
I request Sister Mitalini to give the closing prayer, please.
Namaste to all. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmang amrutangamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु न कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.
Hello, Sister Balchandran. What is that
Yes.
book's name, exact name?
Light of the Sanctuary. SANCTUARY.
Century.
Sanctuary.
Light of Century.
Light of the
Tamil.
Sanctuary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.